I'm going to read another passage from The Way We Never Were, and I'm going to speak to how the government actually legislated us into this nuclear family with one generation under the roof, or one family under one roof. I'm keeping this page up, but I'm going to read everything under the green line, and you guys can read along if you want to, or come back to this if you want to. Convinced that home above all things means privacy, reformers advocated state action not only to regulate slumlords, but also to end the promiscuous socializing of lower classes in urban tenements and streets. They grew hysterical about the dangers of boarding and lodging, once respectable middle class practices, and referred to the street habit as if it were a dangerous addiction, much like crack cocaine. To root out this addiction, progressives promulgated new zoning laws and building codes prohibiting working class families from sharing quarters. So they didn't want families trying to create economies of scale. Welfare agencies spent much of their time and resources establishing habits of privacy among their clients as they did providing material resources. They withheld aid to families who clung to older habits of sociability and economic pooling. So they withheld aid so people couldn't get help if they tried to have some economy of scale. Such antagonism to sharing has been a persistent aspect of American welfare laws. As of 1970s, food stamps were automatically denied to any poor family or individual who did the sensible thing and shared cooking facilities with others. Mothers' pensions, similarly, were made contingent on a woman's display of middle class norms about privacy and domesticity. A recipient had to be a proper person, physically, mentally, and morally fit to bring up her children. So she had to look the part and act the part. Children. She could not take in male boarders, work away from home more than 3 days a week, or live in a morally questionable neighborhood. Investigators interviewed neighbors and entered each woman's home to find out whether she used liquor or tobacco, evidence of an unfit mother, kept her house clean, and attended church. A woman might also be forced to prosecute relatives who refused to provide her with aid. So women had to stay in this box. Recognize in reality that a man's wage was not always enough to support the family, especially in the early 1900s with racism, and women did need to work. Sometimes children were forced to work, but they were still trying to legislate this nuclear family. You guys can read this page.